Well, just how much will the lucky lotto winner walk away with, and what are the tax implications of winning such a large sum, and how freely, really, can the money be given away? To help me unpack these questions, I'm joined by Alex Gwala, a tax specialist from Deloitte. Good evening, Alex. Thanks very much for your time. Are there tax implications? 232 million rand. Is there a portion of that that's going to go to the taxman?
So currently, as the legislation stands, there is an exemption. If you've received money from gambling, on gambling regulated by South African
which the lotto is.
Which the lotto is. So which means he receives that money, it won't
all of it
to tax, yes. But from, if anything can be read from our budget last week, there might be a 1% in the future that will be taxed, that will be charged on the winnings.
But as the law stands currently, he gets all of it.
He gets all of it tax-free.
Under what circumstances, let's say, given whatever he may decide to do with the money, under what circumstances will some of it be taxable, if at all?
So the normal one, honestly, it will be if you put money in the bank, you earn interest, it will be subject to tax, the interest that you're earning. And I think for him, because it's a lot of money, that exemption of 23,000 will mean nothing to him. But the other thing that will attract tax is if he decides to give that money to friends and family, that will attract donations tax. The first 100,000 is exempt. But as soon as you give more than 100,000, you'll be subject to donations tax of 20%, up to 30 million. And then if he gives more than 30 million in a year, then the 20% goes up to 25%. So the way it works is he will be, as a winner, making a donation, he will be subject to the donations tax. But if for whatever reason he fails to make that payment to SARS, SARS can go for the recipient of that donation and get the donation tax.
From what you know from experience, are those percentages enough to dissuade people from being generous if they decide to be? Say he wakes up tomorrow and decides he's going to give $1 million to each of his family members. Let's say he has 12 family members. Is the tax enough to dissuade him from doing that, or will he do that anyway?
I don't think so. I mean, it's a lot of money. So one way or the other, he will give some to the family and friends. And I don't think the issue of tax will deter him from giving that tax. In fact, even if you are his relative, you'll actually raise your hand to say, give me that $1 million, I'll sort the tax myself, because you're getting it for free. So I don't think it will have any bearing. Unless, of course, he gives money to, like, your public benefit organizations. The money that he gives there will be exempt in most cases. But that's not a family. That will be entities that are for good cause.
Are there no areas that are exempt that may, in fact, serve where he would have to pay no tax but do good?
Those are the public benefit organizations. It also depends on the type of an organization, because
you have to check if it's registered and what it does.
You can be an NGO, but not being able to issue the certificates that will allow him to get a tax deduction. So you apply to SARS to be that entity that will be able to issue that certificate. So if he wants to do that, he can even start his own and make a contribution to his own organization, where he will put money in there, and that money will fund the activities that qualify for the exemption in terms of the PBO, and then that money will not be taxed when he donates it.
But quickly, are there areas where there is actually that he can invest the money in, but which attract very little or even no tax?
Definitely. One of them, it was touched on last week on the budget, is your 12J venture capital investments, where you put money in there. Whatever you put in, you get a tax deduction on the capital amount over a period of 5 years. So that would be one example of the investment that you can make that will not be subject to tax. And you also have the tax-free, even though I don't think for him, because it's a lot of money, the 33,000 a year that you invest and get it tax-free. I think you're allowed to invest up to 500,000 in a lifetime. So for him, 500,000 is immaterial. So I don't think he will consider those.
Okay, that's what we're going to leave it. Thanks very much for coming through.